evening and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Today we have on Jizzy. How you doing, man?
I am good, Shawn. I'm good. I'm good.
Been a little while. We're going to talk about your album. I know you've been doing a lot of press, but let's peel it back and talk about this great album. I think everybody needs to check it out. It's fantastic, and I can be pretty critical.
Well, it's nice. It's nice when you do something and it's appreciated, obviously. You know what I mean? I feel good about it. I felt good about it before. I hadn't really played it for anybody yet.
Yeah.
It's been sitting on my computer for months and months and months. I let you hear it, but it's kind of, you know what I mean? Now that it's out and people seem to like it, it's awesome.
And the time is there's a lot of really good albums out too. So the competition's stiff. Everyone's doing their best albums right now. So you needed to come out strong. So it's a good time.
Album of the week.
Oh, come on now. It's good. This album to me, it stands up with the first two. Love Hate. It's right up there with them.
Well, good. I mean, and that's a very hard, high bar, to try and get to. Those two records are really, really good. And that was when we were sort of running on all cylinders. You know what I mean?
Well, I said it because there's a lot of little interesting different parts, and parts of the songs could be other songs for some people. So that's the other two had. They had a lot of extra little pieces in it that really built this really great machine. And you have a lot of that in this album.
I just think, over the years, I've sort of gotten better at crafting. You know what I mean? I'm a better couch builder. My skills and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And what differentiates a good song from and how to edit songs too, I think is important.
Yeah.
When people start out, they think that they don't understand songs have to be sensible as you know what I mean? Like I talked about this on my jizzypearl.
Yeah, I actually watched it. It was really good.
Songwriting thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to adhere to that strict formula that I said, but I mean, it's kind of a good formula to have. You know what I mean? You have to have your chorus, and you got to get to it to a certain point because people's attention span is very short. You know what I mean? Like you get this really great riff writer, and he's got this killer riff, and you're going, "Oh man, I'm excited! What's coming?" And then it's all it is he moves his fingers and it's the same riff for the chorus, and you're just going, damn, where's my golden ticket?
Well, I think that's one of the things. You have a lot of crazy riffs on all the way through this thing. You get the structure of the song, you get the riffs, your vocals. Now I know you said something. You guys have gotten a review about your vocals.
Oh
yeah,
that
now,
they were too good and they had to be auto-tuned.
Yeah, your voice is super strong at this point. You've been performing nonstop, recording. Your voice is just on. It's the strongest
lucky,
ever been,
bro. Just lucky, and obviously, I work at it.
Right.
I don't screw around. I mean, I don't know. I take care of stuff and I prepare and I practice. And the vocals are strong on this record, but they just have to be because people know me as a singer, and other people think, okay, he writes songs too. He's got these solo records or whatever, but I'm primarily known as a singer, so the vocals are the first thing that people are going to grab, and so the vocals have to be kick-ass. And if they are, and then obviously if people dig the songs, and that's great too.
The artwork for this album, but you've always had really good artwork with like Love Hate and your shirts and your books. Want to touch on that a little bit?
The guy that did it was his name's Joe, and he's been my t-shirt maker for 10 years. He does all the shirts for Monsters of Rock Cruise. He does everyone's shirts. I mean, he's the guy to go to. And I went to him and I said, make me a logo that looks like a motorcycle gang. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And don't make it cheesy, make it cool. And that's what he did. I mean, I commissioned it and we went back and forth, and he was the guy that did it. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
And it's simple. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what I like about it. I mean, the other guy for the Frontiers record, he did that crazy cover. I mean, that was crazy. It was amazing. You know what I
Right.
mean? I would never have. I mean, that was like Sergeant Pepper or one of my last acid trips or something like that. I mean, I just, yeah. So, you know,
That's like artwork. You know
people
what I
that
mean?
buy CDs and people that actually care about what's in a CD and stuff, you know, then they care about that stuff.
Well, I think with this one, it's a great symbol because like all good rock bands have like a little symbol, an emblem of something. That album cover is a great little, you know,
Yeah,
tie-in.
it's
And
my
yeah,
guy,
yeah, it looks
my
like your
guy.
guy there. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, as you say, you have a new YouTube channel, so people check that out, subscribe to it. Lots of stories on it. I don't know, you doing it weekly now? Is it? I don't know how you're breaking it down now.
Yeah, you know, I'm finding myself turning into a laughing monkey here. I'm finding myself with people that are digging it. You know what I mean? It's slowly starting to catch on
Mhm.
because I don't know. I think what I'm doing is unique. You know, in this internet world. I mean, my wife goes on tarot reading YouTubes and stuff because that's what she likes. There's thousands of tarot readers, thousands
Oh yeah.
of everybody basically reading, you know what I mean, essentially doing the same thing with different things going on. But I feel like what I'm doing is something that no one's kind of doing. You know what I mean? I'm kind of telling stories, trying to be funny or entertaining or whatever, but also keeping it in the framework of you know, rock and roll and you know, the harkening back to the Sunset Strip. And because you know it's real. I
Well,
mean, I
that's
can.
the part is you're very real about it. And that's I think that's the
Well,
big difference.
well, yeah. I mean, because people ask me all the time, what was it like on the Sunset Strip and stuff like that, and you can't, you know what I mean, you can't go back in time. It's not like, you know, you have a viewmaster, you
Right.
can't really talk about it. But I try and explain it. I try and do it with the channel and stuff. And like I said, I mean, and it's fun as well. I mean, if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be doing it. But it is kind of fun to
I wanted to throw
shoot
out
the
there
shit. And
that people haven't seen it, go subscribe to it. I watch it all the time. It's in my feed. So I look forward to them. Let's pull back the covers. Let's talk about some songs. So one of the most important things to me is the song is an order of music on an album. I don't know how you feel about that, or did you choose
it's
your
very
songs?
important.
Okay,
It's
'cause some
very
people don't
important.
care, and to me, I'm like, I care about the song list. I care about the drums. I have a list of things that I go through to
Mhm.
pass the test. And the first thing is the song. You know, you got to come in strong. You know,
Songs, this what it should do is essentially is you need to start off big, kind of get somewhere, and then end big. You know what I mean? So you want to go boom, and in the middle of the set, you want something, but you have to end big. I mean, it's the song list is very important. It is because I want it to be listened to as a record, as a body of music, not you know, track one, go to track eight, because it doesn't make sense. I wouldn't do it like that. I listen
I know
to a
it,
record as a
yeah.
record. You know what I mean? So it is important. I helped put the Blackout and the Let's Rumble and the Wasted set list
Mhm.
together because it's all about flow. You know what I mean? You don't want all your songs to be in the same key because it gets repetitive and it sounds funny. You know, you want it to build and you want it to go somewhere.
And it's like a set list on a concert. Actually, you want to start big. You're gonna have a little slower part. You're gonna pick up. You really want to, have that whole full performance.
Well, you want it to be a journey for sure. I mean, as good as kind of cliche as that sounds, you do. You want to take the listener somewhere. You want them to go, you know, wow, I wasn't expecting that, or wow, that's, you know, you want that. You want that wow, you know.
So obviously, what happened?
I haven't thought about these songs and what what went into making them and writing them. You know what I mean? Because the record's been sitting there for 6 or 8 months. I mean, it's been done for a while. You know, you're on it when you're on a record company, you're on a schedule release date. You know what I mean? So you just got to sit tight, you know, for a year sometimes until they're ready to put your record out. So the record just sits there and you listen to it every now and then and you go, okay, this is really good. Last Chance. Oh, that's great. I like that song and it's funny. But you know, now that it's out and people are talking about it, I get to revisit it. You know what I mean? And I get to go, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that was good. You know, pat myself on the back. That's killer, man. So it's good. I get to have dessert. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm sure it could leave you to doubt yourself too over time. Is it good? Can I go back and change it? It's better just to get it
You
out
can
there.
always
You make yourself crazy.
every songwriter is like that. Every songwriter is like that. Joni Mitchell will tell you in interviews that she doesn't listen to her music because she can't get past the fact that this bass line just isn't completely the way it should be and stuff, and she can't enjoy it. You know what I mean? As opposed to me, it's just different. My music obviously is not as complex. I don't have Jaco Pastorius, you know, playing bass on my music. So I get to enjoy my music. I've learned over the years to appreciate the 95% of what you got as opposed to dwelling on the 5% that you didn't. You know, it's very important to me musically and when I write and when I do my shows on the YouTube and stuff. You know, I mean, I try and keep my bar up of being good because it's all you have at the end of the day.
Is and I think most importantly, as long as you're real, everything else is forgiven. You know.
Yeah. Oh, you know, some of my jokes probably aren't as funny as some people think, but
1.5 minutes is pretty self-explanatory. It's a rocker, it comes in, it's a lot of fun. I mean, you're just belting it out right from the beginning. Now, some of the riffs you came up with are like really fantastic. I think I've heard people what's it like echo maybe like a Zeppelin influence coming in. And I think that's because
think Robin Trower,
I can hear that. I can hear that.
think Pat Travers, think snorting whiskey, drinking cocaine, and Pat and Robin Trower, Day the Eagle. Big fan of Robin Trower. You know what I mean? And that riff is it's simple, but it's deceptive. You know what I mean? It's simple, but it's not simple. It's about the groove, and I'm playing the bass, which was extremely difficult.
So yeah, actually, let's talk about all the instruments you play, because people who see you as a singer, a lot of people up until recently, you know, playing guitar in the show, talking about it, you're mostly known as a singer.
Well, I just, you know, I wrote all the songs, bass, drums, guitar, everything. And so it just seemed natural for me at some point. You know, you can do recording at home, everyone does, and you can get, you know, good sounds. And so I just thought, screw it. You know what I mean? I'll play the bass. I play bass on most of the record, dude.
Really?
It's not like I'm going to be a bass player because I'm not. But if you get me on a stool on about 8 cups of coffee, I can bang out a bass track. You know what I mean? I have the skill to do it in a recording situation, but live, no way. Know what I mean? When you play bass, it isn't tick 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 tick. I mean, it's,
And
you
the
know, you
timing
gotta
is
really
yeah.
dig into it, but not too much, or you'll pull it sharp. You know what I mean?
How about Acid Babe?
Acid Babe is for my wife. It's not a love song, but it is a love song. It's tongue in cheek.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It talks about my relationship with her and who she is, and how she sort of keeps me from going off the deep end. I mean, if you're in a good marriage, you know, she has to tell you, you know, she can't tell you what you want to hear. She has to tell you the real deal. like your song sucks and quit farting in bed, and you know what I mean,
I
all
do.
that kind of stuff. And so that's, and the riff is kind of Faster Pussycat-ish. I like Faster Pussycat Babylon songs. I like that period
Yep.
of their writing, which is kind of rock, but it's dance. Chicks can dance to it too. It's sort of like Nobody's Fault But Mine, I guess. Another Zeppelin
Okay.
thing. But
I get
then,
that.
then you get to the chorus and it's got that riff in it, and that's kind of Faster Pussycat. You know what I mean? It's kind of Sunset Strip, sleaze, playing at the whiskey. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I that's what I grew up with, and that's what I like. And it's, some people think it sounds like Guns N' Roses, and I'll take it. Gonna Take You Higher, yes. Well, I've told everyone it's about Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons was a rocket engineer. He was one of the founders of modern rocket engineering, I guess. But he was also in Aleister Crowley's sphere of influence, the sex cult. And so he was right and left brain, you know what I mean? He was a math guy and a science guy, but he was also into the occult, which kind of it makes him interesting to me. And, he had a tragic life, and so when I write about Gonna Take You Higher Than You Ever Been, or when you do what you wilt, then you're gonna find love again. I mean, that's, anyone that knows Crowley knows exactly where I'm referencing. So yeah, I mean, and it's a good riff. It's a killer riff, kind of Zeppy, kind of Aerosmithy, and the chorus has got that weird psychedelic guitar in there. It's got elements of Aerosmith and Zeppelin, and drums are great.
Gonna Take You Higher. The beginning, I thought it was gonna be a slow song or an acoustic song. I thought it was a little fake out there. In the
I
beginning of
faked
that,
you out
he totally
on
faked me out. I
purpose.
said, "Whoa, is he slowing down?" And then you're like, "No." That was a good twist there in your song there.
Well, we got, we like our twists and turns. We like our little changes. There's a bunch of changes in the songs, different places. Obviously, anyone that's a Zeppelin aficionado will hear the couple of places in the songs where you know, I
Similar in a 70s rock, though. I was just saying I brought that up because Zeppelin is easier. A lot of people aren't going to know Robin Trower like we would know him, you know what I mean? And listen to him on our phone or whatever. But Zeppelin, everyone knows Zeppelin. But it's not totally Zeppelinish. It's very 70s rock riffs, like it's got the undercurrent, like you'd see there, it comes up and grabs you when you're not paying attention. To me, that's how I feel.
well,
And I
what
like
I
that.
did was what I did was, and when Zeppelin is just the best band. I
Right.
mean, Zeppelin and Aerosmith during the Rocks, Toys in the Attic period, the best.
Mhm.
Every band has the best period. You know what I mean? And Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, Houses of the Holy, the best. That's when they were their most psychedelic and weird, and like you listen to the Rain song and just go, how the fuck did you write that? It's just so amazing. So what I did with this record is I did 4 guitar tracks, rhythm tracks, and I never done that before. Usually you do 2. You do left and right.
Picking it up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stereo. And what I did was I did 4. So half of the 4 were Les Pauls, Gibson Les Pauls, which is that Jimmy Page classic
Mhm.
Les Paul sound. And the other side was SGs, Gibson SGs, which is Angus Young sound. So what I gave the record was the warmth and the 70s feel of the Zeppelin, of that Les Paul going through a Marshall. Naturally, you have to play through Marshalls or you're an idiot. And that SG sound, which is that Mutt Lange Back in Black, which
Yep.
is that clean, crispy, you know what I mean? It brightens up the guitars. It makes the guitars crisper. You know what I mean? And more staccato. And I think it's a good match, I feel.
Uh, Now, Soul Mama is probably one of your a stock sound of yours. It's a great sound. It's like people love that sound of yours. It's
Well, it's AC/DC, man. I mean, anybody, a lot of people try to write a good AC/DC song, and you know, I put my hat in the ring to try and write a good AC/DC song. I mean, I always was a fan of that Back in Black record, so I just, you know, you can't go wrong with a straight beat and 27 guitars just playing in rhythm. You know what I mean? So yeah, good song.
great. Great. Hard to say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
A little touching. It's still not a ballad, but it's touching on a topic.
Yeah. You know what? I've been doing interviews, and everyone seems to point to that song, and maybe because it just it means something. I mean, I had some guy in Australia brought a tear to my eye, mate. I mean, I just, you know, it sounds silly, but the thing is when you read the lyrics and stuff like that, it is very heartfelt. I mean, he was my only brother. He had a long, you know, cancer thing, and it was fucked. I mean, it was like anyone that's dealt with cancer, it's just it tears you up. And I tried a few times to write a song for him and about him, and they were not good. They were funny, they were phony, they sounded like Motley Crue Home Sweet Home. It just wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't me being able to be real. And so with Hard to Say Goodbye, it's got that great commercial $1 million chorus, but it's got that kind of immigrant song, Led Zeppelin-y. It's a weird riff, that thing. It's based off the A string, and it's just a weird riff. It's kind of like immigrant song, but it's not. It's funny. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Love Hate. A lot of the weird chords in like Yucca Man and some of those songs were just because Skid was an upside down player and he played guitar upside down. So a lot of the stuff, the chords aren't what would be called traditional,
Right.
you know, bar chords or, you know, regular chords like that. So that's why Love Hate always had that kind of distinctive tone to its music. And so yeah, with Hard to Say Goodbye, it is a good song. I mean, it's and the lyrics are great. They say what I want to say without coming off sappy
That's
and
what it is. I think this is the most emotive that you've been about something, probably flat out through a whole
well, you
song.
know, it was it
That's why it
was
stood
it
out a
was
little bit more.
it was important, man. It was important. You know, it isn't. I'm of an age where I'm not going to write an I can't drive 55. You know what I mean? I'm just, that's not where I am in my life. You know, I write about relationships. I write about my marriage. I write about where I am in the world. I write about the state of where I am. You know, I was playing around with a tuning, a different tuning on guitar, and I kept rewriting the same Whitesnake song. You know what I mean? Take you down slow and easy, you know, and so I go quit with the regular, you know what I mean? Go back to normal tuning. But I dug the riff. I dug where I went with it.
Yeah.
Like the verse is kind of like last in line, and then it goes somewhere else. Outro of that song and the bridge are kind of straight up Jizzo with the weird harmony and the change up. And the outro is really cool. The outro is kind of like Sowing the Seeds of Love by Tears for Fears. You know what I mean? It's got that psychedelic Beatle, like when you listen to the end of I'm the Walrus and there's all that weird shit
At
going
the end.
on. And you know what I mean? So yeah, that's a trippy song for sure.
To me, it feels like a lot of push pull too. I like it. Like you go here, you're here, you're here, and you're back and forth.
Mm.
I think that's what the vocals.
It's
The
about, you know what? It's about someone that that lives this life on social media, that this person is trying to represent themselves on social media as having this awesome life, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And with the selfies and the pictures and the locate, you know what I mean? It's but it's trying too hard. It's not real, and you're really kind of, a mess. You know what I mean? But you have this wonderful life on Facebook. But so it's kind of like that uh, dichotomy of great life, you know, to the outside world, but inside you're just, you're messed up.
I think it's. I don't know why people. It's a really good song. I mean, like, they're all good. But now, Last Chance. What was the thought behind that? And
Last Chance is kind of, it's about somebody in a relationship that has a nihilistic view that I know that this thing we have is doomed, but I shall carry on anyway. You know what I mean? It's I'm gonna I'm gonna hold the torch as long as I can before it burns my fingers. And it's the closest thing to a ballad on the record, but it's not a real love song. It's
no,
more of just a kind of a testimony to this thing has a shelf life, and when it's done, and it's too bad. But I'll tell you that one of the better guitar solos on the record came from Stevie Pierce, my UK guitar player. He played a very good solo on that record. It's very, you know what I mean? Like when the guitar when the note hangs in the air, and you don't have to overplay sometimes, like David Gilmour, like on some of his solos, he's just holding those notes out there, and it's got more 10 times the impact than him doing one of these things. You
forever.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. It's. I mean, you are a storyteller, and that's what you've been doing with your videos and your books. And each song is like, like everything else you do, is a mini story. Bruised and Battered. I really like that song a lot. You know,
Yeah.
it's got your gritty lyrics in a lot of these
Well,
songs.
that song, Bruise and Batter, is about being a drunken fuck up, for basically. Um, it's about, you know, the old Jizzy,
Your
the
field
guy that
research years.
used to be a hit at parties. You know what I mean? And obviously, it's method acting. I can just reach back and draw from experience.
Yeah,
Um, the riff is cool. Uh, the riff is sort of my attempt at writing a Billy Duffy, like the Cult.
yep,
I was a big fan of the Cult, Love, and Sonic Temple. How he does two or three strings and kind of the mixing of it to get like an open tuning type thing. And so that's where that chorus riff came in. It was kind of like my attempt to do like a She Sells Sanctuary. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's cool. Be somebody is again, it's kind of in that Faster Pussycat mode of dance, heavy. You know what I mean? Like Lips and Hips from Electric Boys, same thing. I mean, it's it's danceable, but it's heavy, and which I like, and it's the cautionary tale of the girl that wants her name in lights, but doesn't understand that there's a price to pay. You know what I mean? She has to lose parts of her soul to do that. And that's kind of what that song is about. You want to be somebody, but you don't realize
oh
that
God.
there's a bill.
Well, we do jump around from song to song because we hit all as good as they are. Um, the last song, "Lonely Days." You do change your
Yes,
pace a little bit
yes.
there. Yes, I like it. I like it. the chorus, you got some extra vocals in the background there too. Little
Yeah, originally, um, that song, I wanted it to sort of be kind of like Ted Nugent's Stranglehold. You know what I mean? Like that down and down, 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 down. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not going to play the exact notes because I would get sued, but that's kind of where my head was at with that song. And when I first wrote it, I had the background vocals singing "Lonely Days Are Gone," and it just wasn't enough for me. It was good, but it wasn't good enough. So then I kind of changed it a little bit, and I put that high vocal over it, like the Jizzy high vocal over it.
yep.
So it's kind of doing a call response. You know
Right.
what I mean? And it made the chorus bigger, and then you're in the vibe and you dig it, and then you change it up, you speed things up a little bit for that ending, which is kind of like Foghat Slow Ride. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And then a little Van Halen thing at the end, and you know what I mean? I am honest about borrowing from the classic people of
Right.
the past. You know what I mean? I have no problem, saying that I want it to sound like this. I want it to sound like this because that's the music that I grew up with and I enjoy. I'm certainly not gonna say, I need this to sound like Gary Newman Cars. You know what I mean? It's just that because that's
Not you.
not me.
Right.
You know what I mean? It would be weird.
So there's a lot of really good guitar solos on this album too. I mean,
Oh,
props to the
Darren,
record.
Darren played great. Darren outdid himself on this record. He really did, because we had to record the record on FaceTime because he lived in LA and I am here. And so it's hard when you're talking to someone like this, when they're recording your music and it's super, super intimate, and yet it's not.
Right.
So it was harder for me to reach out and say, come on, to cheerlead like I have to do when it's your music. That's when I am dealing with someone playing solos and playing guitar on my records. I cheerlead, and a solo is just like a song. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And yeah, you have to. I pay attention to all that stuff. Sometimes to the chagrin of who I'm playing with. You know what I mean? I mean, not many people put out a new book, a new record, and start up a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? It's a lot. I enjoy being productive. I don't like sitting on my ass. I'm not like a vacation guy that likes to sit in a lounge chair. I feel like the more you sit around, it's like the rock vultures start to circle. You know what I mean? And pretty soon you're eating, Cheetos and watching Netflix, and so it's important for me to always stay creative in some aspect, and the YouTube channel
Yeah.
is a great vehicle. You know what I mean? It's brand new, and I feel like what I am doing, what I'm trying to do, is different from the thousands and thousands of other rock guys out there, and it's hopefully it'll catch on, and I'll be the new internet sensation.
Got a couple big guys out there to catch up to, but so
Yeah.
jizzypearl.net, right? And jpearl
TV.
TV. And the links will be underneath here. Um, anything else you want to shout out while we're
No, I'm glad we had this chat, and I can thank you for helping me set up my jpearl site. This guy helped me go over it. When you explain it, it was first like algebra, and then when you actually explained it, I go, okay, well this isn't as algebra as I thought. It's
right?
not as it's just doing. That's the thing. That's about writing songs, performing, all this stuff is just about doing and failing and getting better and failing and doing it and not walking away, not giving up. You know, most people